Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Barry Williams. I'm part of the academic training team within the college. I'm going to be delivering this session for you today. Before we move on, just a reminder, class guidelines. We're all adults. You've signed the student code of conduct. You know what's expected, and all I ask is a mutual respect between yourselves and myself. Okay, so we'll move swiftly on because we've a lot to cover today. Um, so First of all, we'll look at what we're doing here. This module consists of 4 sessions and a final written assignment. The topic covers various aspects of written assignment work which you'll encounter in the course of your studies. The areas we're going to cover will be font style and size, the paragraph and line spacing, adding headings, adding a table of contents, um, designing a cover page, adding page numbers and headings, or headers rather, and perhaps the most important aspect that will be covered in these sessions is the bibliography and citations. So we won't dawdle, we'll keep going. So this session today is going to cover more specifically the type and size of font, okay, the paragraph alignment, line spacing, headings and in-text citations. There will be a video demonstration towards the end which will just show how these things are done, just to reinforce the learning, if you like. So why do we need to form a formal training in this area? Well, firstly, it's so that you guys know exactly what's expected of you from the outset in regard to assignment writing. We want to strive to achieve uniformity and a high standard of writing within the institution. And that in turn leads to a more pleasant reading experience for everyone, for yourselves and for anyone else that has to read your assignment. In particular for your tutors or your lecturers who need to read the assignments to grade them. It makes it more pleasurable for them. And lastly, and very important for you guys again, is that this module is worth 5% of your communications continuous assessment. So it's quite an important few marks. I know it seems like small marks, but every mark is important. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is the font, excuse me, and the size of the font we're looking for is a size 12, and the style will be Times New Roman. And both of those options can be found on the Home tab in the ribbon, as you can see there in the graphic. So we'll move on from there and we look at the line spacing in the paragraph. So what we're looking for here is a line spacing of 1.5 and the paragraph to be justified. This makes it so much easier to read and it looks much better. Again, those items are on the Home tab in the paragraph section. There they are there. Moving on from that then, we look at headings, and the heading choice is important because it's correct. If it's correctly done, it automatically propagates the table of contents. So we're looking for a heading style of 1, and it's Times New Roman again, but the size is slightly bigger, so we're looking for a 14, and we would normally make it bold and underline that text, as you can see in the graphic there. And those options are available on the Home tab again in the styles and the font sections. You can see there in the graphic. Okay, so the last item we're going to look at today is citations. We'll be using either Harvard or IEEE. Citations are to be inserted both within the text and in a bibliography. We look at a bibliography at a later stage. The options on the ribbon references tab this time in citations and bibliography, as you can see there. So now we'll take a look at a short video which will just go over what we've learned so far today. As you can see, this text has been written in Calibri Light. It's size 16, so we're going to change that. So what I'll do is I'll highlight the text and we'll change it to Times New Roman, which is what we're looking for, and we'll reduce the size to 12, which is correct for written assignments. Okay, so in this case we can see that Times New Roman and size 12, the text is correct. However, the paragraphs haven't been justified and the line spacing, the correct line spacing, hasn't been applied. So what I'll do is I'll work on the one paragraph so that we can compare the two when I'm finished, and we'll justify the paragraph with the justify button here. And as you can see, it's looking better already. Next we'll go in and first of all, the spacing here, we'll change this 6 to 0, and in the line spacing we'll make it 1.5 and press OK, and you see straight away one paragraph looks much better than the other. Okay, so we'll have a look at headings now. As you can see, this is normal text, Times New Roman 12. I'm going to highlight it, then I'm going to go to the heading styles up here. Again, it's on the home tab in the ribbon. So we go into the heading styles and we press on heading type 1. Okay, now as you can see, the font has changed. The color is fine. I need to change it now to Times New 14, and we want it bold and underlined, and your heading is done. The heading will automatically propagate to the table of contents when a table of contents has been added. Again, we'll look at that later on in the module. Okay, so now we're going to take a brief look at in-text citations. We'll take a much more in-depth look later on in the module as we progress. So what we need to do first is go to the References tab in the ribbon. So here we are in the References tab, and the area we're looking for is Citations and Bibliography. As you can see, by default this one is set to Harvard. You can set it to different types. As you can see here, there's the IEEE, which was mentioned in the presentation. So we leave it on Harvard just for now. We have our cursor in line. We click on Insert Citation, Add New Source. In this case, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to put an author's name in. So that would be Ryder, comma, N. Okay, so that's the author's name. I'll just put a year in for now. So 1984. Okay, and we'll click OK. And straight away we have our citation here. When a bibliography is added to the report, that will also propagate to the bibliography. But as I said, we'll look into that in more detail later on. So what should we take away from today? Well, we looked at the type and size of font, okay, the alignment and the spacing of paragraphs. We also looked at headings, and we took a brief look at in-text citations. You're not expected to remember every detail of what we've covered, but you have a basic idea and some reference material to go on from there. In a few moments, we're going to do a little quiz just to see if anyone is still awake. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that there's a class handout for this module, along with a link to a session evaluation sheet that I'll need you to complete and submit. That's for this session. You'll receive those via the student email today, hopefully. And I'll just to remind you, I'll need that evaluation sheet completed and submitted before our next session. We'll go ahead now with the quiz, and there'll be time for questions and answers after we've completed that.